Google Ventures is the investment arm of Alphabet, formerly known as Google. It has 300 live investments with a total of $2 billion at work. M.G. Siegler with me now. He is a general partner. M.G., great to have you with us. Thanks for the time.
Thanks for having me.
I have to ask you right off the bat, bubble or no bubble?
So in the area of investment that I'm involved in, which is mainly early stage, definitely don't view it as a bubble. If it is, I think generally if it is a bubble, it's a very different bubble than it was sort of the bubble that I think everyone speaks of, around 2000.
Because I want to stop you there, because that was mostly a bubble that burst and then affected stockholders,
yes,
the public. So if this one is a bubble, are you saying it's just going to affect you and your peers, and that's tough because that's what you get paid to do, is pick what to invest in?
It does seem that it will affect private investors if there is a correction that happens in some regard. But at the earlier stage side of things, I don't view it so much as a bubble in that I think that it's obviously natural that a lot of early stage startups will not be successful. That's what we do, sort of going through and looking at these startups and figuring out which ones can be successful. But we're not going to be right all the time. And so I think that there's a lot more money coming in to the market, both at the earlier and the later stage side of things. But I do view it as natural that a lot of these companies won't be successful in the long run.
M.G., can we ask you to give advice to all these would-be founders when somebody pitches to Google Ventures? What is the number one thing that you look for?
I think there's a number of things. The number one thing that I personally think about a lot is this the right time for something to work? I think that we've seen time and time again, a good example being, say, Instagram. Obviously, there were photo sharing services that were out and about before Instagram came around. Instagram, in some cases, I believe, worked because it was the right time. The iPhone was out. It had good picture quality. The cell services were good enough to be able to share quickly. And so it's a matter of finding not only the right idea and the right entrepreneur, but also at the right time.
Speaking of which, timing, digital news is becoming a more and more crowded space. So today, it seems as if Facebook is working on launching something called Notify, which you don't even have to have a Facebook account, but it's essentially a news app. Netflix seems like it is getting into news. HBO and Vice getting into news. You have an investment in Medium. Where do you see the modern digital news platforms going?
I think the reason why we like Medium so much is that it's a little bit different from these sort of more straightforward content plays, which are obviously involve oftentimes paying journalists to high salaries to be able to put content out there that people want. And I think that will work for some of the companies that you're sort of mentioning. I think some of them are doing a great job of that. Medium's a little bit different. They do have some element of paid journalism going on, but the vast majority of what they're trying to do is make a platform for getting different thoughts and ideas out there, and sort of more compelling even than the sort of original reporting going on. I think from the Medium perspective is things like being able to quickly respond to another story that's out there and sort of keeping the ball rolling on content that someone else puts out. I think that the number one problem that people have when they go to sit down to write something on the internet is that they just don't know even where to begin. They see like a blank page and it's intimidating. And so what Medium does is allow you an easy way to sort of riff off an idea that someone else may have put out there to begin with.
But how on Medium are these thoughts organized, right? Because as the volume of noise goes up for all of us, that can be auditory, it can be visual, it can be idea noise, you need trusted filters and editors almost more than ever. Yeah,
I think that that's the number one issue that sort of all these guys face, frankly. You need to figure out, all these companies need to figure out the way to get the pertinent information in front of the eyeballs that want to see it. And so there's different ways of doing that. There's algorithmic ways, there's human editor ways. Personally, I think it's probably a combination of the two things.
Well, M.G. Siegler, thank you so much
for
joining us there. He is a general partner with Google Ventures.